I feel more than myself when I row.
Rowing is probably one of the only sports that encompasses just every single aspect of being the perfect athlete.
It challenges you mentally because you're looking to perfect your technique. It challenges you physically because you have to become this athletic specimen of a human being.
I love the grind behind it all. You've got to put so much into it to get a little bit out.
You have to have put so many hours of complete dedication just to improve 1/100th of your stroke by 1%. You also have to be so switched on to what's happening around you, whilst every part of your body is just completely screaming in agony.
I feel unstoppable, I feel amazing.
It's all about the journey. You've all been in that dark place together, but you want, at the end of that journey, to produce something really quite special.
Another day, another mile. You've been gone a good long while. Another hill, another climb. You can't afford to lose no time. So much road still left to go. Where it ends, nobody knows. And the wind blows in your face. You love the thrill, you love the chase.
To our commentators on the course, I think we've got cats in the
Good, I'm on the trip of a lifetime. I've been wanting this for my whole life.
Yeah, good. Ready. Happy to be here.
It's good, it's weird, it's very different to usual. And normally every time we've come here it's just for like a training camp, but it's really cool. I'm very excited.
Pretty good jigger. Most crews won't actually have this. It's just in particular the men's four because we pull it so hard that often the nuts can come loose.
Ollie, that's nothing to do with our three-man being Mr. Fiddly.
No.
So Matt likes to give you snacks in there.
She also made some banana bread, didn't he?
Yeah, we've got banana bread in there.
This is the three-seat, arguably the most important seat in the boat. You're expected to row very well and deliver the power, and yeah, this is my seat.
Yeah, about 20 months now I think since we raced world champ. Feels like
A lot of training hours.
Yeah, a lot of hours have gone into going into this competition, and now I'll be able to execute that and put that out there. Feels kind of surreal.
Yeah, 2019, Vince, was actually 500 days ago?
586 days.
586 days. But who's counting?
We probably get 3 races in a calendar year, which isn't an awful lot. But this year, we've got 1, and that's the European Championships. It's sort of pressure on. There's not an awful lot of time to be preparing, and there's not an awful lot of time to make mistakes, which is exciting. But I guess, yeah, it does put the pressure on.
Yeah, it's been a difficult journey to get here. I've had some operations, and I had COVID over Christmas, and just excited now that I can kind of put it all behind me, hopefully, and get on that start line. I needed this race just to come out and be in a boat park, kind of learn it, because I've only done 3 international races, one of which is Gavirati here, then the World Cup in Poznan and the World Champs, so it's really only my second big championships that I've come to, so for me I've got to use it as a stepping stone towards Tokyo. If I go out and try and pull myself inside out to pull a certain result, then I might hinder myself in Tokyo, so it's kind of, for me, it's a double-edged sword. I've got to go out and race and give it the best I can without digging too much of a hole the other end. So.
It's an opportunity. It's been 20 months since they've raced. The challenge in normal years is you go from a World Championships into your selection, into the World Cup Series, back into World Championships or Olympics. Whereas with that break from it, it's quite. They're desperate to actually go, right, well, how good are we? Because yes, you can show how good you are relative to others in the training centre, but it's what's out there against the rest of the international crews that counts, really.
I guess the motivation not to be complacent, I guess it comes in different forms for different people in our crew. For me, it's wanting to blow the field apart and to win by as much as possible. If I won by a minute, I'd want to win by 2 minutes. If I won by half a second, I'd want to win by a second and a half or whatever. So it is just that, trying to push the boundaries and set new standards.
It's not even just about beating the other crews, but it's about basically dictating the speed of the race, dictating the speed of the event, and basically setting a time for people after us to follow and try and chase. So, I mean, I'd love it to be more than 12 seconds. I like basically going off the start, and then obviously I sit in the bows, so I can't see anyone for the whole race, and I just sort of enjoy letting them just walk away, basically.
You get to the Olympics, you've done at least 2 races, and you can kind of see where you're at. You know, obviously things can change, but those are going to be your first gauges as to where you are compared to the rest of the world. You have no idea what everyone else is doing. You could be doing world record time in training, and then you come last because everyone else has gone faster than world record time in their training. So it's really scary, and it'll be really nice to have one done and see, I mean, hopefully if we do well, and see if get that one out of the way. But it's going to be scary, I think.
If we look at 2012, the women's pair created history. In 2016, the women's 8 created a bit of history in terms of being the first 8 on the podium. I think the women's 4s event will create history because it's the first time for a long time that it's back at the Games. We've got the talent in that boat to create a bit of history, and it's a boat that we can absolutely put into the history books, but keep in the history books. And I do think that kind of the men's 4 and the para 4, how they've developed over the past however many years, it'd be nice to have that behind us. I think a pair is 2 individuals, and 8 is a huge team, whereas then the 4 is that kind of, it's going to have 1 or 2 individuals in that, but it's a team, and we can create momentum over the next however many cycles.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, it's cool if you were the first 4 that won gold at the Olympics, and that was the first time this had been there. It would be really cool. You'd go down. That'd be the first name would be yours. That'd be cool.
So I'm just doing what coaches do, which is triple clean everything, tighten everything too tight, and just keep myself busy till the crew arrive for their briefing. Even though Australia, New Zealand, USA aren't obviously here, there's competition outside of Europe, but you know, in this event there's some really good boats within European countries, so it gives us a marker.
All right, let's do it.
Good.
All right, boys. It does feel quite strange that it's been so long since we last raced, and like a lot of the guys on the team are like really pumped, like, oh, I can't believe I haven't raced for so long. But yeah, there's been a change of command. Like Jürgen's been there for forever. He's gone. We were like lucky to have Robin Williams, our coach. He like piloted the girls' pair to 2 Olympic gold medals, and I think we've like addressed our mindset. There's illicit trust and faith in what Robin's doing for us, and I think we're so like lucky that he's probably one of the best rowing coaches, if not the best rowing coach in the world. So Robin will kind of suggest how things should be done, but it's fully up to us whether we buy into it. And with previous coaches, it was kind of like, you should row like this because that's how it's done, whereas Robin just wants us to go as fast as we possibly can. When you're really in the kind of cave of a hard session and the coach tells you to do something, even if you're not conscious of the buy-in, you might not be quite there. But with Robin, it's like, however like baggage I am during a piece, I'll like fully commit, and I think it's those small percentages that could ultimately make the difference.
Under Jürgen's leadership, they won in 2000, 2004, 8, 12, 16. You know, that's a lot to live up to, but that's not going to help us win. having extra pressure could detract, I suppose, but I think mostly they're just grounded in the present, and so we don't talk about the legacy really of it. So far it hasn't come up in conversation, so I think we've got a very good chance, and time will tell when we come back from Tokyo.
Is it go out, win at all costs, go out, deliver everything that we've got, and then hope that that's enough to win? I think that maybe it's because I'm getting old, but I just feel that like it's all kind of, we were never going to race, and kind of just seeing it all as a bonus, and hopefully it will go well.
Through the rigours of training and testing, the men's 4 and the para 4 have retained the same lineups from 2019. Within a very strong women's squad, the lineup for the 4 has changed to optimise recovery from the strain of lockdown and a unique comeback.
I ended up getting overtraining through October, November, and having a lot of time out of training. So most of December wasn't doing very much. We trained 3 times a day most of the week. Long sessions, like hour and a half, 2-hour sessions sometimes. I was doing maybe a half an hour of light cycling and then some yoga, if I was lucky, kind of thing. Helen's come back into the fold, and Helen's had a bit of a injury, and I've had my overtraining, and so we've ended up coming together. So we raced the World Championships in 2013, which we won, so we know that there's good pedigree in this boat.
Helen Glover, double Olympic and 3-time world champion. Having retired after the Rio Olympics to focus on other projects and to become a mother of 3, what began as a lockdown project has developed into a return to the sport and the prospect of a 3rd Olympic Games.
Midway through 2020, she actually gave me a call and said, I'm having a think about this, what do you think? So we had a bit of a friendly chat, but it was all quite uncertain as to, well, could she get fit again? Would there be a place for her, a boat for her? But I was really delighted, and actually, she and Polly are, they're fast.
It feels a bit weird. This has been my first time out on the water since Rio, in terms of international competition. So, seeing familiar faces, which is strange. I never thought I'd see like that old Italian coach again and things like that. So it's nice.
They're a few years older, but wiser and cleverer, and all that race experience. So they're in a really good spot. And actually, the delay of the Olympics, of course, for Helen has meant that this was possible. If it had been last summer, it would not have been possible for her. It would have been a year too early.
I think the nerves are at a good level, to be honest. I think I'm really relaxed, but I'm getting the closer it's going, the more I'm thinking about racing, getting little butterflies. So everything's staying on the right side of being ready at the moment.
There's an immense amount of pressure because I feel like we are of a pedigree that demands success. We've seen some quite good speeds and stuff in training, so it's kind of a bit like, oh, maybe this is something quite interesting, rather than, oh gosh, we've got to be in the pair, because at the moment neither of us are ready to be in the 4. It would be something quite nice to kind of round it all off. It's like, we started a project in 2013 and then here 2021.
Top boat from the women's sweep boat in a great.
For crews such as the men's and the women's 8 and the para 4, it is just one race, a straight final. Others don't have it so easy, with heats and semi-finals to deal with. For the British rowing team, there are no nasty surprises, with all crews progressing to their finals and a chance to contend for podium places.
Very, very tough, but good. Just.
Well, Like reps and semis are always horrible. You've got that, because it's do or die, you do tend to have quite a sandwich effect towards the top crew, and I thought actually they commanded the race really, really well through the first 1,000 and into the second 1,000, and then as the race for the second place came about, I think they did a good job of staying ahead.
Good. Yeah, one of our better ones. I think the first few days we've been here have probably been like a bit tight and a bit like to all of it, so that was good. A lot better than summer.
We executed a good first K, and that's not just going to happen again just by magic. We know we have to generate that again. But if we row to our potential, I don't see any reason why we can't kind of get out and dominate. So you have no idea what everyone else is doing, and I think we've had this deep confidence in the team that we're like building, and I don't think there's any doubt that the team's hopefully in a stronger place after the year delay.
Finals day. A chance to put to rest some of the demons from the past 12 months and to let loose against the best that Europe has to offer.
Yeah, really good, really good. The weather doesn't make much of a difference for us, thankfully. Just go out there and do it. I'm really, really excited. So, just can't wait.
With the 4, it's going to be tough, because when you look at the other countries around the world, some people haven't qualified in 8 and they will be putting people forward for the 4, and I think it's going to be really feisty and it's going to be really quite spicy.
Feel good, feel ready for today. Got nothing to lose.
Yeah, pretty excited. I think the conditions are as expected. So I think everyone's pretty happy that we're just sort of getting able to race, and everyone's pretty pumped for the finals. So.
An hour before with Robin and the boys, and that's kind of more of a technical kind of race structure. So we'll do this here, do that there, think about this here, and then just before we boat, Rory will normally kind of really rev us up. He's like an incredibly positive person, and he's like immensely driven by winning Olympic gold. And I think he said, we're just going to go out there, dominate the race, win the race, and then like win the Olympics. It's like a real goosebump, hairs on end, a kind of moment. And I think it just gets everyone on the same page, and you can all look each other in the eye and like commit to each other that you're going to do this together, and kind of like put yourself in the bin for the boys.
I remember just feeling really cold. Now! We went off the start and I thought, oh God, my legs feel really cold.
Can we sit still?
We went off the blocks and we try and kind of not think about anyone else.
Stay loose now as we get ready to inject.
We were just a bit kind of like lethargic almost through the first 20 strokes. And I looked to the side and I saw that like the Irish were still with us. And I thought, that's not good.
500!
The first race is going to be crucial, because that's essentially where you're starting from, and that's essentially you're telling the rest of the world that you mean business, and you're going to go out there and you're going to do the business. You don't want to go out there and just turn up, because what's the point in that?
I'm like all for kind of being humble and realistic, but in that race we were just faster. Like we hit a rhythm that was just better than other people's, and that felt totally amazing. I don't think I've ever really had that ever on like an international stage.
20 strokes in, click, and it was like my body had fired up again, and I just thought, wow, okay, here we go.
We're still just in third.
The Romanians had taken the lead by probably a length, and all I could think, I'm not kidding you, for about 700 metres was, you don't know what the fuck's coming, mate. You fucking have no clue. I'm not usually like this, but I was like, who the fuck do you think you are? Just rowing through, like, you don't know what's coming. You do not know, you do not need that lead. That is not for you, that is my lead.
You get to decide who stands on the podium.
We just like trucked through them, and they were level. I could feel them working, and the same thing. Like I've never been so aggressive in my head and yet calm in my body.
We need 2 seats to Russia.
200 meters to go. I was like, Mayday, Mayday, okay, the engines are out. It's not good. Just get through the line, just go, just go.
And again, legs.
Even though Helen didn't have to say very much, she just knew, we knew together that we were just not accepting anything than winning.
My big sister says, oh, why do you row? Like, you're always unhappy, you never get the result you want, you train so hard, your hands are knackered, you're knackered. I put a lot of pressure on myself to always get it right. Like in training it has to be right, in racing it has to be right, and my mindset has to be right. Things don't just kind of happen, you have to make that happen, and then it all kind of paid off. Just like a complete outpouring of relief. It's for moments like that.
It's a big marker, to be honest. It's a big old stick in the ground, and we know our competition are watching, so it's just like, hello, here we are, come and chase us if you can, and I don't think they can.
Still and again, legs, hit.
Whoever's just like really set a marker for ourselves and for each other.
First ever Paralympic European champions and world champions as well. To hold 3 titles at once is like truly special.
The road's definitely kind of been up and down. It's never plain sailing, but it's just all to play for really. And you don't really have anything but opportunity.
There was that middle K where we were the fastest moving boat on the field, and we chose to win the race there.
We came away with, I think, 12 medals, which was phenomenal. So, that vindicated a lot of what we'd done through the winter months, through the COVID.
We've just been training against the clock, and then to the first race back, to be putting people in the bin like that was just like awesome.
I do remember actually in Rio, the race started and I think they got to the 1,000 K mark, and I just thought, they were at the back of the pack, and I thought, what the fuck are you doing? I just said it out. Oh my God. And then suddenly there was this move, and you could see it was, and every cell in my body was on fire and sort of electrified. It was, like those when you're at school and you put your hand on that globe and your hair sticks up. Well, that's what every cell in my body felt like. It was just electrified. And as they came in the last 500, oh God, it was unreal. Very, very exciting. Yeah, and so when they got the silver, it was, I can still feel the feeling. It was fabulous, really, really amazing. So, yeah, bring it on, Tokyo.
Olympic Team Announcement Day. The day when the rowers are confirmed to be heading to Tokyo. A day that was an extra 12 months in the making.
I remember I was in a pair that didn't go, and we'd done all the training, and I was kind of where they drew the line. And I remember one day, the day the Olympic team was announced, they didn't have any kit. And I think Morris came in, who's the boatman here, and just handed out a few kind of t-shirts with the Olympic rings on them. And obviously all the guys who were going kind of put them on. It was just a t-shirt. But I remember thinking, that it's more than just a t-shirt. There's no way I could ever wear that t-shirt. I couldn't buy it. I can't, just nick it out the guy's bag. You earn that t-shirt. And I think to be able to put a t-shirt on with the Olympic rings and know that this is your t-shirt, you've earned it, that's going to be the most amazing feeling. And then from there, I'm not really thinking about which boat, and I almost don't want to, because that would change the mindset of just enjoying the group of guys who are training now.
And then in the women's pair, Helen Glover and Helen
We're both a bit giddy, aren't we? We're like really excited.
We're like embarrassingly excited.
Yeah, we're like the old ladies at the back, being really rowdy and shouting everyone.
When the journey's been less predictable, it almost makes this moment kind of
really significant. I feel like it's just, and not just because of our individual journeys, but because of the year that the nation's had, the world's had. It's just like, it just brings us back to a point in time that we've been waiting for, and it's like, you can breathe a bit, you can look forward to what's happening. It's just a really nice moment in time.
It's an extra 12 months in the making, and it feels like a good extra 12 months as well. It's getting even more real, it's getting even more like it's actually going to happen.
Women's 8, Fiona Gammon, Sarah Parker, Rebecca Edwards.
My journey has been like round and round. I'm going to the Olympics, Granda. Look, do you want to see my letter? Look. It says, "Dear Rebecca, on behalf of the British Olympic Association, it gives me great pleasure to confirm your selection to compete for Team GB at the 32nd Summer Olympic Games in Tokyo. You are part of a select group of historic individuals dating back to 1896.
Sherry, she's going to the Olympics.
We're going to the Olympics! Rowing. I'm a rower, but make it Olympic rower.
Men's 4, Oliver Cook, Matt Rossiter, Rory Gibbs, Sholto Carnegie.
It's like a childhood dream, isn't it, to go to the Olympics and be part of Team GB. It's just like kind of a pinch yourself moment, but yeah, the brain's very good at like adjusting the goalposts and moving to what's next, but I think it's a really, really special moment.
Women's 4, Rowan McKellar, Harriet Taylor, Karen Bennett, Rebecca Shorten.
Actually getting the kit and stuff today is a bit like, ooh. So yeah, seems good. Although I still don't think I'll be like, until I'm on that flight and I'm heading there and I'm actually there, then I think it'll seem more real.
Weeks after the Olympic team is announced, the Paralympic rowing team is confirmed, presenting with it the opportunity for these athletes to continue their dominance and cement their place in history.
The history of the 4 of winning gold is very good, so once you're in the 4, you're like, okay, like I'm all right here, but how can I make it better? You know, how can I leave my mark on the group and on the boat? You know, I want to be somebody that people look back on and go like, wow, you were brilliant to row with. In every aspect, yeah, physically and mentally, like as a friend and as a rower.
Everyone talks about Rio because a few of our squad went to Rio, and like they're just saying like this is going to be the best year of your life. Like it's going to be hard, we know that, but it will be the best year of my life, I think.
If I could bring everybody that's ever helped me onto the podium, I certainly would, but we'd need a really big podium. That medal, if we win it in Tokyo, I wish I could divide it up with nail clippers and give it to everybody.
I've been so lucky to make, you know, some of my closest, most dearest friends, and you learn how somebody ticks. You absolutely understand their every move and you know, their every feeling and emotion, and that rawness, you feel it with them.
Hi, Sherry.
You can't describe what everyday rowing does, you know. But it is something very special, and it's something that I'm going to find it really hard to walk away from because it's been such a long time. Yeah, I think I'll really miss it. Sorry. It's just a cool opportunity. Like, why would you not want to do something this like awesome when you can? And like I said, I was a kid when I first started it, and here I am in my 30s still going, and I still fucking love it. It's like, it's awesome. Oh God, I don't know, I'm crying and let my mum.
It's okay, I know someday I'm gonna be with you. It's okay, I know someday I'm gonna be with you.
knew that was going to happen. No bloopers.
Someday I'm gonna be with you.
Another day, another mile. You've been gone a good long while. Another hill, another climb. You can't afford to lose no time.